Well, folks, this is another Marvel Disney Plus show done and dusted. As we reach the end of What If Season 1, I believe they've confirmed more seasons. What if the Watcher broke his oath? In other words, what if he interfered, which, I think we all knew that was coming. So this is one that actually is kind of hard to have much to talk about because it's exactly what you think it is based off the previous episode. This is about assembling a bunch of characters from the other what ifs that we've seen up to this point and throwing them at Ultron. Quite literally in the case of the zombies, which I called. I actually said, I wonder if they'll just throw zombies at him. And they did. It was amusing. If only for being right about that. I think the most fun I had with this was, again, Thor, Party Thor, especially using Viva Las Vegas as a battle cry. Yeah, it's hard not to like that particular aspect, and the rest of it was fine. I mean, it's a big action finale for a show that I have found the action to be some of the least interesting parts of it. I mean, that's the thing. For me to really get invested in action, it either has to be truly top-tier action, or it needs to involve characters I care about. And I've seen these granted, they're based off characters that I know and I care about, but I've seen these particular versions of these characters for 20 minutes, half hour apiece once. So it's just a big smash all the pieces together, which, I mean, for what the show is, that's fine. That's a good way to cap it off as any. You can't really build to a finale in something like What If and have the finale feel like a culmination of things unless you do something like this. So, fair enough. I will say this. For when I criticized last time about the fact that Ultron didn't appear to know the abilities of the Infinity Gems and was just blasting energy, there were a lot of comments telling me about how, well, he wouldn't know what they do, so for him they're just a power-up, or like, well, they're not supposed to function in other universes anyway, so maybe getting them all into just a blast is all he can do when he jumps dimensions. And you know what? He uses the Time Stone as the Time Stone. Which means Ultron's just an idiot. He has power over space, time, reality, the mind, and he's just firing blasts of energy at people until he almost loses. I mean, granted, at least at that... Well, I was going to say at least at that point he pulls that out of his sleeve, except that they haven't established Ultron as someone who goes in expecting a fair fight, because, he thought his first attack was going to kill everybody. So it's not like he's going in this going, ooh, let's see how well I can take you on without using these powers. They haven't established him as that kind of character, and evidence within the thing indicates that he's not that kind. He's a machine. He goes for efficiency. So the fact that he just doesn't use his biggest draw cards till the very end actually makes me think it would have been better if they'd only had him blasting, and so those other headcanon explanations that people were offering up in the comments would have held water, except now they don't. Now, every time he didn't use the Time Stone, or the Reality Stone, or the Mind Stone, or the Space Stone, or as an individual thing, now he's an idiot. So, yeah. And I get, the one thing is people have told me, using them all together like Thanos did, that drained a lot out of you, it almost killed the Hulk, etc. I get that, doing something like the snap that is a universe-wide effect in one go, but clearly you can still stop time and warp reality and be fine, or at least he can. As far as the resolution goes, I'd actually totally forgotten about Zola. So when Widow fired that arrow, I'm like, okay, until Zola got uploaded, I went, oh, right, okay. And it was not exactly surprising to then see both Zola and Killmonger be like, I've got the stones, I've got the stones, Oh, and people have noted that in the comics, Infinity Stones don't work from one dimension to another. Here they clearly do, except they acknowledge that they are different because the smasher doesn't work. But that, again, that acknowledgement, a bit like having Ultron use the time stone, actually kind of creates as many questions as it solves. Because in that case, well, if they are different, then they're not attuned to this universe and they shouldn't work, which is how it works in the comics. Except they clearly do. So they're functionally the same as this universe's time and reality and all the Infinity Stones. So what the what? I think I'm supposed to turn my brain off and just take in the spectacle. I'm not good at that. I'm not incapable of it, but I'm not good at it. And I'm especially not good at it with Marvel because Marvel's best stuff doesn't ask you to turn your brain off. Its worst stuff asks you to turn your brain off. So, you know, to have a finale that I feel like I would have enjoyed if I just zoned out, that doesn't feel like a good thing. Not for Marvel, not when their best stuff is more engaging than this. I guess all I can do is end on my thoughts on What If overall, which is it's fine. The individual stories, I liked the T'Challa one a lot. I thought that one was exceptionally inventive. I did actually, especially thinking about it again, I did really enjoy the Thor one. Like, and that one really kind of embraced how dumb it was. Like, the fact that he got smashed across the globe, and it's like he's being smashed across the map. You can see the words on the ground, United Kingdom, America. You know, it knew it was dumb. And it was fine with it. I'm like, no, I dig that one. I think those were the two I liked the most. I didn't hate the zombies as much as I thought I would. So, for whatever that's worth. But I really didn't like the Doctor Strange one. I didn't think the Killmonger one was all that interesting. Captain Carter was solid, but just very middle of the road. The Ultron one was just a setup for the finale. The finale was fine. That's just kind of where I'm at with this thing. It's fine. I guess I'd hoped that between the premise and the fact that they went animated, that they would go more out there. That they would stretch out a little bit further and try a little bit harder at something that they couldn't do in the main universe. Not just in terms of narrative and plot, but in terms of tone and theme and style. I mean, like the style of interaction and humor. I guess that's why I did like the T'Challa and the Thor ones best, because the T'Challa one felt like the most inventive, like the most moved pieces by the change. So it was fun seeing how different so many things were. And with the Thor one, like that was the one that was just the most, we're just going silly. Let's be silly. I'm like, cool, embrace that. Honestly, I might have liked the zombie one better if it had had less humor and had gone proper full bore in on the horror. Because it actually, the moments of humor in that undercut what it had going on. And there's a lack of commitment in a lot of ways, I feel. They're being like, ooh, and here's something a little bit different, but doesn't it still largely feel like the Marvel you know? I'm like, yeah, that's why it's kind of boring. And I'm not bored with Marvel as a whole. But when you got to pitch me something that could be anything, and yet is still hauntingly familiar the majority of the time, and or the few times that it isn't, is insanely predictable, Doctor Strange, I'm not that impressed. Which is frustrating. Because I was looking forward to this. I can't remember what's next on Disney+. It's not for a little bit. I think we're done for this year. I know they're shooting... Hawkeye. Hawkeye in November? So yeah, I guess I'm done with my obligation for weekly reviews for a little bit. There'll still be stuff going up here. Don't worry. I got plenty of stuff to talk about and cover. So, what if? The finale and the show overall. What'd you think? Whatever your thoughts are, drop something down in the comments. Let's talk about it. Like, share, and subscribe. I don't know why I did it like that. All that stuff helps me out. I also have a Patreon. I kind of stalled there for a minute. It's like my brain was cycling. But if you're able to help me out there, it keeps this whole operation up and running. But even if you can't, we take a relaxed attitude around here, so it's fine. You just come on back next time you need a break. This video wouldn't have been possible without the support of my patrons, and I want to give special thanks to Jared Boyce, MJ, The Doctor, Tracy Scrabbit, Vincent Paul Bartolucci, Halen Schwartz, Edelon, Robin Moore, Ross Schultz, and Shayla Gorley. Thanks so much.